Oh, what up, what up, guys? It's your girl, Robert Butterfly, here today to do your daily message. Whenever you catch a video, this reading is for anyone that it resonates with. Virgo, you guys know what time it is. Say hello, hello, hello. Stamp in, tune in. Let's get into it. If you want a personal, you can use the description box down below. And we're going to go ahead and jump right on into this, okay? Before I get into the message with the cards, I did have a little message for you guys. I had a little giddy up, okay? A little giddy up for the Ponderosa. A little giddy up for the Ponderosa. How we feeling that? Let me see. Oh, well. All right, but let's get into it, you guys. I had a couple of messages here that I was channeling before the video. And what I was picking up for you guys is that some of you guys could be dealing with a situation here where a bunch of lies are about to unfold. Whether this is somebody you're dealing with, this is your family, this is somebody at your job, or this is something that has absolutely nothing to do with you. You could just be watching this on CNN, Channel 4, Fox News, whatever this is. But a lot of drama is about to unfold here, and it's not really drama, it's lies, okay? The second message that I was picking up for you guys, hold on 1 second. Let me get my glasses, because y'all know that light. That light be messing with your girl eyes. All right. Oh, shit, I didn't drop the water. The second message I was getting for you guys is that when we all can be God's chosen. This ain't about favorites or favors or favoritism, okay? But there is a different buildup going on for those of you guys that are God's warriors, God's soldiers, okay? So new levels, new devils. Keep that in mind for some of you guys. Okay, I had that message, and it was very important for me to tell you that. Don't get caught up in what everybody else is doing. Don't get caught up in what everybody else is saying. Don't get caught up in whatever is going on around you, because it's something here about a message that you're going to give, a truth, I wouldn't say sermon. It could be a sermon for some of you guys, but I'm also getting a testimony here. Okay, that could be on the stand, off the stand, whatever. Okay, so I was hearing that song in my head, Feds Did a Sweep by Future, right? And of course, when we hear feds, we automatically think, feds coming in to get, somebody here. We don't never think the feds doing the sweep on the government, or feds doing sweep on a politician, or feds doing a sweep on like let's say Diddy or somebody, right? But what God was telling me is that, Virgo, a lot of you guys, you keep people up off their feet. People can't really buy you. Okay, but there's this point where you're coming in demanding what you are worth. Okay, so you can't be bought, but you kind of like, okay, but you're gonna have to pay me though. You can't be bought, you can't be sold. Okay, so it's kind of like, Virgo, you cannot be controlled. So whatever this manipulation is that has been going on across the globe, or going on across the world, going on in your neighborhood, going on in your family, going on in this relationship, whatever dynamic it is, I feel like this whole little dilemma, this whole little problem, this whole little whatever this wave is that's going on, whatever this little, I just cannot figure it out, because it gives me like, I keep seeing puppet fingers. Okay, Virgo? And you have been following my page for a very long time. I have always spoke about the puppet master. Okay, so I feel like that puppet master is being exposed now. Just like it's new levels, new devils. When you chosen by God as a warrior, as a soldier, your battle and your walk is going to be a lot different. Okay, stay with me. But I'm getting that no matter what level you are in your life, don't count yourself out, because some of you guys are at different levels, and some of you guys have different understandings about your value, about your worth, what you're willing to compromise and what you're not. Okay, Virgo? But what I'm getting here is that others of you guys, you still in that playground round. You still in the middle school and high school and going to college. You ain't had the suffrage days, okay? And it's okay, because as long as suffer after suffer is coming, that's how you know that God is choosing you. Period. Okay? So what I'm getting is that don't get too caught up in what the hell is going on, because it's a lot of things that's being brought up from the bottom, okay? And a lot of people who have been thrown to the bottom, thrown to the pits, that you weren't even supposed to be there, but you survived anyway. All this shit that's being coming up from the bottom is bringing you not to the top, but it's giving you just enough to have air, okay? Now that you have gotten there, you're gonna have to pay me. It's not about being silent, okay? So there's a thin line here. That's what God was telling me. A thin line between love and hate. A thin line between, not selling your soul, but also taking the money. There's a thin line, because you have to know what to do with it. You have to know who you are in order to know who to say yes to and who to say no to, okay? So a very powerful message, or a very powerful device that you guys are going to be creating. Now, I will say this as well, that this is another message that I was picking up for you guys, okay? When it comes down to witches, okay, God was telling me about birthmarks and birthrights, okay? So witches, we all know the story back in the day when witches used to be hung and they were killed and they had to be on the low, okay? But if you actually have done your research, if you actually have, looked back into history, if you actually have opened your mind to receive real news versus fake news, right? You would understand exactly what the crap is going on here. What in the hell is going on here? Because a lot of witches were healers. A lot of witches were considered prophets. If they really didn't want to run with Jesus' message, was so powerful that they couldn't title Jesus as a witch. But if they wanted to, they could have. If it would have made dollars for them, they could have. But too many people believed in his message, so they couldn't run with that. Okay? And then they couldn't allow people with those same gifts. Jesus was trying to teach people, hey, use these herbs, use the dirt, use your faith in God, use this, use that. Jesus was doing things that cards could never even predict. But if he probably had a set of cards, I'm sure that Jesus might have used them too, because in his many ways of teaching, he didn't need cards, but he also referenced to something to show people something that was unbelievable, right? So it has a lot to do with magic here. And this was not magic, this was real. So the magic and the trick is making sure that you don't believe that magic and witches and prophets and natural healing and all of these different resources that are God-given and man-made that we have to pay to use are now being, used against us. Period. So this is not a conspiracy theory. This is the message that I'm giving you guys. And if you want to, receive it, receive it. If you want to wait till the cards come around, that's on you. But at the end of the day, this can be affecting you at any point in your life, because a lot of you guys, like I said, you can't be bought, but at the same time, you cannot be sold. Okay, so that leaves you in that empty space. And you're one of those people that's in the empty space that figures things out. Point blank, period. You're one of those people that are in the empty space that understand both sides of okay, this is what you're doing, this is what you're saying, but you also see the bigger picture. You're in the empty space. How is this going to affect my love life? How is this going to affect what God's telling me to do? How is this going to affect A, B, and C? It's different for all of you guys, but at the end of the day, some of you guys do not fall for this trap, and you have been under attack, and it seems like a spiritual attack, but it's not. Okay? It's not at all. So what God was telling me is that there's a thin line between, when we go back to the witches, right? And birthmarks and birthrights. Stay with me, you guys, okay? Some of you guys, you could have a lot of features, traits, okay? And I say physical traits that you can see, just like me. Okay, I got a mole on my nose. I got a mole on my chin. I got a mole on my head. I got moles everywhere. I got birthmarks. Now, if you look into these things, these are certain things in different cultures that believes different things, but each culture have their own meaning. what it signifies, why it's important. Okay, now in America, we are always witches are always represented with what? A crooked nose, a mole on their nose, a mole on their chin. They're always disfigured. They have certain type of nails. Okay. But the truth of the matter is that a lot of that time that wasn't witches. That was people that was doing what they weren't supposed to do. And I don't even think that was even what God was telling me. I don't even believe that was ever a representation of witches. That's just the way that it was shown to you guys. Okay, because what they wanted to do was see people who had certain features, certain marks. So God would mark you in certain ways. Okay, just like they were saying, the mark of the beast. There is no mark of the beast. The mark was God, when he chose certain children, warriors, and fighters who they brought back, it came back on their body. It would always show, is what God was telling me. And also what he showed me is that, yes, reincarnation is real. There are going to be souls that reincarnate back into this world. There will be bodies that will be used in his form. So you have to understand that. And when he chooses those bodies, he marked those bodies, because you got to understand that there are so many people that's trying to imitate that. There's so many people that's going to doctors and putting on certain things that they know. Why? How can people say, hold on, baby, 1 second, Ray, 1 second, booty. How can people say, oh, you a witch, but people go get the Marilyn Monroe tattoo? People go get their nose pierced. And that's why he said it was very powerful with my markings, because there are people that believe in God. So when you go back to these rural lands and these rural countries and these rural cities, and these people that believe in their ancestors, and they get these certain piercings, they stretch out their earlobes, they put piercings in their nose, they put piercings in their chins, they put markings on their body to pretty much honor not just the ancestors, but also honor God, to let him know that even if I wasn't a chosen born with these marks, that I'm chosen to believe in you. You get what I'm saying? And it's so beneficial, it's so sacrificial, but it's also such a powerful, meaningful message, because day to day, we don't realize what we take for granted. We don't realize how big that notion is. Like, of course, some of us can think that way when we think about black people and our ancestors and what they died for. Don't say this word, don't say that word, but we run around using the word every day. You know what I'm saying? And other cultures and other places, certain markings mean certain things, and people understand that. Okay, just like I don't know, I was also getting this notion about what God told me about when you see a Muslim woman, right, that believes in her faith, or you see even Christian, I don't know, any race that believe in their faith, they carry themselves a certain way. But I'm getting the reference for the Muslim woman, because when you see a Muslim woman, she is covered up. Okay, she's not coming out with everything showing. She's not coming out with much to say. But there's something, there's a thin line between violence and silence. Okay, so there's something here about, breaking that camel, breaking the back, breaking the stallion, but also understanding who is breaking you, God, what walk you're going through. Because when I still walk in the room, I'm not covered for man, I'm covered for God. Because when people walk into this room and they see me, no matter where I go, they automatically know my belief. That's what God was saying, right? People know my belief. So you don't have to be covered in order, from head to toe, in order for people to know your belief. Oftentimes, a lot of people have found God and stripped of everything that they have had. You get what I'm saying? This is why he says, come to the altar as who you are. Okay? So the message that I was getting here is that you have to know who your enemy is. Okay, and sometimes when you are used to the world being against you, you gotta know when God is sending somebody for you. If you choose to attack everything that God sends to you, then you're going to stay in the same place. You could be moving on up, but it don't matter. You're gonna take that same mentality with you. And this is what God is saying that a lot of you guys are coming in to do, why you have been silenced and why you have been marked, why you have your beauty marks, why you earned these stripes, why you have these whips on your back. Even if they're invisible, God sees and God knows. He's marked you in his own work, in his own way, okay? Whether that's something that identifies with your birthmark, or that's something that identifies with the life and the legacy and the footprints that you're going to be leaving in this world, period, okay? A lot of you guys, like I said, you cannot be bought and you cannot be sold. So you're stuck in a crowd of where you have to figure out what you can do for yourself, and that's it, okay? So back to what let's get into the cards and let's get into the message. But a lot of people that have really been, what I'm really hearing is the word set tripping. Ain't that crazy? Because a lot of times we believe, gangs and Crip blood, this, that, and the other, oh, they set tripping. But imagine everybody that's ruling the world set tripping right now. And you got to be careful, because if you don't know who you are, you're going to buy a dream. Some folks around you, Virg, I'm not going to lie, they've been buying dreams 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 times from 3, 4, 5, 6 different demons, bill collectors, debt collectors, soul collectors, bone collectors, scam collectors, body collectors, house to stay collectors. You get what I'm saying, Virg? You got to understand, know who your enemy is, because a lot of times when things are right there and whoever this is in their face, baby, when they choose to ignore it, it's not even about being in denial. It's totally ignoring it. It's that they've been here once before, Virgo, but they still going through it again. The fear is coming in, but they still jumping in. They nosy, they watching. That's how you know that they know that they're onto something. Okay. How many times did this person have to go through this? How many? How many times did this person have to go through this, Virgo? It could be you. It could be an earth sign. It could be anybody. It definitely you, Virg. How many times? How many times you got to go through it? Okay. How many times? Two-faced. One thing I love about you and I give you grace for, Virgo, is because you don't put yourself in no storm that you can't handle. You really understand that the consequence. Virgo, sometimes you will be, I'm the problem way too quick. Virgo, you quick to say you the problem. That's the problem, right? That's the biggest problem in the room, because Virgo, God is removing you from a room where people can't even blame you as the problem. You can't even blame yourself. Things are so cut and clear. Things are so dry. Things are so right in people's face. Every lie, even that you tell yourself, is being unfolded here, Virgo. Cannot make it up, okay? I feel like, Virg, your intuition is right on point. Okay, especially for those of you guys that are very prophetic, or those of you guys that are nosy, those of you guys that stand on something. You got pressure on their necks. I'm not gonna lie to you. They won't admit it. They don't want to say it. They feeling pressure. And Virgo, you not saying nothing. You not doing nothing. This is without warrant. This is without you asking or wishing or praying. This is just what it's aligned to be. Period. Okay. Speaking of alignment, I feel like there's a big planetary, there's a big planetary alignment that's coming in, Virgo, one of the biggest ones. I think they was calling it parade planets or something like that, child. Yeah, don't make wishes, Virgo. I wouldn't say demand, but command what you want. You have an honor with God here. You are one of the mighty soldiers, mighty warriors. And when you come to talk to God, he like, man, you're going to have to learn how to talk to me. You're going to have to learn to know who you are. You got to pick your head up. I don't even have you in battle no more. You got to understand, you got to take that battle and that fear factor out of you, because, yeah, it's going to be times that you always have to be prepared to go to war. But when it's time for you to sit back and chill, sit back and chill. You know how to discern what's real and what's fake. There's a thin line. That's what this is. Point blank, period. There's a thin line between love and hate. There's a thin line between a boss and somebody that God has paved the way for. Because this day and time, Virgo, anybody can make it look like they a boss. Anybody can make it sound like they a boss. Anybody can get on YouTube and learn how to do something that you were the person on YouTube showing the way. But you may not get the credit, and you may do. You may get washed up. You may not. The part about it is that, Virgo, who are you doing it for, and and what are you doing it for? If you're doing it for God, you learn a new way, and they're going to continue to follow. New level, new devil. If you're doing it for yourself and because of what everybody else is doing, they're going to continue to follow that, and new level, new devil. At the end of the day, you're starting to learn you're responsible for you, Virg. You're starting to learn the accountability only counts for you. You're starting to learn that when people are accountable, it's nothing being held accountable, not by you. They didn't want to be held accountable by you, but when God holds them accountable, Virgo, it's nothing that you can do. They can blame you all they want to. They can unfold a bunch of lies about you. They can say you two-faced, you nosy. They try to keep you in this certain state of fear. But the truth is really here, and it's prevailing, Virgo. It's stepping on their necks, like I said. Okay, point blank, period. And you ain't touching them. Still, you rising here. It's a better day for you. A lot of people wanted you to do this work for them. A lot of people wanted you to, be the rotten egg. They wanted you to be the black egg. They wanted you to be fermented. They wanted you to be in a state where you had to, age, and you had to, at the end of the day, you still got to know that comes with, if you've been enough places, you understand that this still comes with something. Okay, because some people see a black egg and that's fine dining. That's luxury there. Only those with a high palate could understand something like this, okay? But other people be like, no, we don't like that. That's not for me. Other people that's invested into wine, they know how to age the wine. The longer the wine is sitting, the better that it may be. You can't touch that bottle. See, this is that type of energy that a lot of you guys are possessing here. Okay, so people could definitely be afraid of you. They don't really know what to do with you. They don't really know how to approach you. They don't really know how to talk to you. And they could be afraid of a lot of the truth that you have to tell, because the crazy thing is, as their lies unfolding, not one thing that you have said has been a lie. Everything you're saying is the truth. So imagine that. Imagine all these lies and it's unfolding, and everything this person is saying is the truth. Yeah, they waking up. They waking up in ways that they never imagined. This is just the start of it. They like, oh, I'm glad that wasn't me with no electricity. Oh, look at me. I'm living scotch-free. Look at me. I'm doing A, B, and C. I'm hitting every line, every store. Look, it's burning up. We ain't got to do this. But, man, it's about to hit everywhere. And a lot of people that's not focused on the bigger thing here, those are the people that's about to be hit. Those are the people that didn't understand, oh, I better say something. Oh, I better cut back. Oh, I better start moving A, B, and C in a way that God is humbling me. The internet could never humble you, Virgo. Okay, a person's opinion of you does not humble you, Virgo. Okay, like you will take the brokest person in the room and still create them into an oyster. Like you know what it is to wait for the oyster to turn a pearl. You know what it is to do the deep diving by yourself. Man, you know what it is to go and pick up the bones. You know what it is for people to leave you scraps. You know what it is, Virgo, how valuable you are to a vulture. They keep telling you ignore the bone, ignore the dog, okay? But thank God you're not on a leash. You have the ability to fly. You have the ability to move. You have the ability to travel. So, yeah, you have some marks. You have some ways. You have some flaws. You have some things that really is out of your hands, out of your control going on, Virgo. God made you a certain way so that he can identify you a certain way, because God was prepared. If you weren't prepared, he was prepared. He chose you. He's using you as a vessel to lead the way. Be a fox. Being fox. And I'm going to read that to you guys so that you understand the acknowledgement of that card, okay? And yeah, we're going to get into the love reading for you guys. Thank y'all for y'all patience. I love you guys. Don't forget to hit the like button for your girl. If you want to personally use that description box down below. Okay, so fox card, here we are, Virg. Okay, it says smart, strong partner or mate, wise teacher. The fox is an enchanting creature with plenty of mystique to go around. Fox personalities are skillful in business and also make great teachers. They are quick to learn and adapt well to new situations. Foxes are ideal life partners as they commit to relationships for the long run. Their natural charisma keeps things exciting. Fox's energy helps us to stay true to those most dear to us. When this card appears, reconnect to those you love. Foxes don't do well when they slip away. When in balance, magical, ingenious, teacher, monogamous. When out of balance, sneaky, unsure of their identity, to bring into balance partnership and connection. So a lot of you guys, Virgo, you bringing in tribes. You're bringing in people together, even if they don't want to. Even if people don't want you to meet your tribe, whatever that's going against you, God is bringing you to exactly what you need and who you need. Who you need to be around. You just need to remain open-minded in this situation. A lot of you guys, it's not about potential. You have reached your potential. You have outlived your potential. A lot of you guys, you have to take on this new step of realizing this set of foot that those new footprints God has paved the way for you, that you may be looking at like, that's too big. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to do that. You need to understand that God didn't get you there, put you there, place you there for you to question it. Go ahead and put your feet in it. You're gonna grow into it. You're going to understand why he made the shoes bigger. Don't mean that they're going to fit you to walk in. Sometimes he puts you in a situation to say, I got these shoes for somebody else that can fit them. Okay? It's bigger than you. And what you're doing is bigger than you. The messages that God is giving you is bigger than you. This breakthrough that God is about to do is bigger than you. So this is not a time for you to have mercy on nobody. This is a time for you to have mercy on yourself, because if you have not been doing it the right way, if you have not taken accountability in your own life, if you have not taken a step back from worldly things, if you have not been able to show up in your humiliation without blaming somebody, then God is saying that, yeah, I may have used you and got you this big for that reason. I might have put you in these shoes. I might have put you around this person, this place for a certain reason, but it may not be for what you think. And the enemy may not be who you think. So if you're busy attacking one of my soldiers, then you're provoking a hand. God says, spare the rod, spare the child. And a lot of people, that message goes over so many heads because we are the child. The rod is being spared every day. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Spare the rod, spoil the child. Spare the rod, spoil the child. You can't keep beating a person down day in and day out and day in and day out and not thinking that a weather storm is going to be here. This is what is going on. There's some type of manipulation going on in the system, and it's also not just using God's name, but when you start to get not just God's children, we are all God's children, but when you start interfering in God's business, like the police come in, you interfering with jury, police jury, whatever the fuck they be saying, excuse my language, whatever they be calling out, take you to jail if you interfering while they trying to interview somebody, right? God's saying the same thing. You interviewing with my business, interfering with my business while you trying to have an interview with the devil. You have to know who the enemy is. And sometimes the enemy is not your devil. Sometimes when you a warrior, that's something you didn't already beat and attack in a life that you don't know about. Beat and attack when you didn't even know. You was just praying. You got your prayer language. You know what to do. You saying no to things that people would say yes to. So once you beat the attack of that, new level, new devil. You're not playing with the devil, but there's people that still want to play with the devil that's coming after you because you didn't beat the devil. That's what this message is about, and that's what God is telling you. You have to understand who your enemy is. You have to understand that some points they brownie. It's like Miss Pac-Man. Y'all ever played Miss Pac-Man? Okay, some of them you eat it up, and then the little monsters the goblins start coming out. You got to run around the goblins, but you got to eat up everything on the course before God puts you on the next level. Do it stop? No, you got more now. But every time you do, you beat one level, you got a lot more minions with you. You got a lot more to eat. Okay, it's like a maze. And God says that for his warriors and those that are being touched by this, we ain't being touched, we see it, but we can't attack each other. This ain't about no terror land. This is about real riders for God, real acknowledgement for your gifts, real acknowledgement for what you know is going on in this back end. Real people that do not follow. There is a thin line between I'm paving the way, but I'm fitting in. There's a thin line between between I'm making a way, but I gotta do what I gotta do to survive. There is a thin line. Like I told you guys, you cannot be bought. You cannot be sold. There is a thin line between bosses. Why do you want to be a boss? Do you want a boss to floss, or do you want to be a boss to change some things? Do you want to be a boss so that everybody truly eats? Because like it's a thing that God been telling me as well. Okay, that we cannot get over. And I know everybody had their opinions about Drake. This is not about that community. This is a message here, right? And the song that kept coming to mind when Drake said, how you going buy a house? What did he say? You invested in a house, you should have invested in Drake. And it's crazy because it goes over people's head, but it's the truth. Now, this is no discredit to people that's buying houses. This is no discredit to people that's living their life. But it's all about knowing where to invest in and who to invest in. It's knowing when and how. Because if you find yourself competing, if you find yourself comparing, if you find yourself worrying about the has-whos and has-nots, you'll see yourself in the crowd. See, some people don't want to be the clown. But Virgo, a lot of you guys, you're taking full representation of the clown. And God said that's a good thing, okay? Because the crazy thing is that nobody wants to be the clown, but everybody wants to be in the circus. You got people so desperate, they ain't even the clown or the circus, because the clown is still running the circus. You got to understand that. The circus is never providing for the clown. The clown came up with the circus and brought others around in that circus. You get what I'm saying? And they started a show. Okay, it takes more than one partnership, community. Okay, Virgo. But the crazy thing is, you got people so desperate that they go get tickets. How you buying tickets? God said that's how He'll use them. How you buying tickets to put you on tour for clown behavior? How you buying tickets to be different, to see somebody being different that you can go talk about, that you can go laugh about on the internet, you can go post about and get $1 million million views and $100 and thousands of dollars for these people that's been out here, been skepticals, witches, clowns, and all kind of different geeks and nerds and tech geniuses and people who have developed your home. You don't even know these people. They don't want you to acknowledge that. They want you to stay focused on what you can do to get that. So what happens to everybody that's supposed to, like our generation, we still have people that believed in being doctors and lawyers and, construction workers or mechanics, or people that were going to be developers and engineers and whatever this is. You get what I'm saying? Commercial or entrepreneur, small business. People had dreams. Now, these days, everybody's dream is to be what you see on the internet, what you see on the TV. And then when you see regular people doing regular things, you like, oh my gosh, they got bad voodoo. They got bad voodoo. Hair flipping. I mean, what Eminem say stand? Why are you so mad? Why are you so mad? We need to understand. Okay? So yeah, at the end of the day, I feel like, God has bigger plans for you guys, okay? Bigger shoes for you to fill. So you have to understand that every time you are blessed, there's going to be different things that come against you. But God, the way you know that He's using you, because God said, I don't put nothing on you that you cannot handle. Okay, so for his strongest soldiers, his strongest warriors, yeah, you're gonna be fighting bigger battles than other people. You don't have time to be keeping up with the Joneses. You don't have time to be keeping up with what everybody else is doing. But understand that you are applying pressure on people next. That's why it's very important for you to continue on in what you're doing. When it's time for you to get rest. When it's time for you to sleep. You ain't got to see what everybody doing on Instagram. Some of you guys could possibly be stepping away from a lot of social media, and ain't nothing wrong with that. Some of you guys could be relying on social media for your paycheck and you getting a job. Ain't nothing wrong with that. Others of you guys, you about to start stepping it up on your social media and receiving the pay, and you got to make sure that you stay on balance and clear for what you're doing it for. If you can't do it without the appearance, if you can't do it without a crowd, it's not for you. If you can't do it when you at your most broken moment, it's not for you. If you can't be quiet about it, it's not for you. So God is telling showing you that you got to see exactly when to move, how to move, and he's showing you that by the way that he's positioning you. Okay, if you thought that everything was supposed to be dandy and roses, and that's what you've been hearing on these videos, if you look around, it is dandy and roses. That don't mean your environment is going to be dandy and roses, right? But you have stability, you have shelter, you have a home over your head, you got food, you got water, you got a lot of things that a lot of people pray and ask for. So like I said, applying pressure on their necks, because whatever is being sent to destroy you, it's not breaking you, and it's not even about making you stronger. At this point, it's giving you knowledge. It's giving you something for in the long run where you really gonna be able to sit back and chill. Because if you already got this many people against you, trying to attack you, trying to stop you, or you got this many people that's following a certain wave that you're not a part of, then you got to understand what type of flood that brings in. Especially when you are a witch and an energy healer, or you are prophetic, or you are a chosen, and God has created you to be a spiritual, warrior for him, not just for the world, but for him to keep him alive, right? So when God has put that type of calling on you and you go through certain things, you got to understand the flood don't always just mean water. The flood gonna be attacked. Some people can love you so much, they energy attached to you, and that could be something that floods in your realm. You can have hundreds of thousands of people that love you and watch you and actually want the best for you, but that energy is flooding who God wants you to be. God wants you to go through certain steps so that you can recognize who you are. And this message is very, very simple. And a lot of you guys, the more that you recognize who you are, the more you're going to start wanting to push away from certain things and certain people who cannot upgrade with you, who cannot grow with you, who do not bring anything, knowledgeable, anything flourishable to your life, to your table, to your plant, to your growth. Okay? And there's nothing wrong with that. You can forgive people. You don't have to rebuild with people. You can acknowledge that I am the prize and not feel bad about it. You can acknowledge taking your prize and not feel bad about it. When people, see you win and they hate on you, they showing you who they are and what they want for you. When people see you in your downfall and they don't help you get up, they showing you who you are. Okay, but in those moments, that's the same time that you got to give grace and knowledge to God and yourself. Because a lot of times, if we caught up into worldly things, we won't be able to say no to what the scheme is, what the dream is. Okay, and you can't keep buying the same dream and blaming it on magic and blaming it on tarot readers and blaming it on God and blaming it on demons. Sometimes God say, no, you got to be accountable. It's a 101 with me. It's a 101 with me, and some people do not want to acknowledge that. So these people that's been blaming you, lie after lie after lie, it is unfolding. Some of you guys, it's the truth about you that unfolds. It's not a lie about you that unfolds. It's not a lie about them that unfolds. It's just your truth. It's not destroying you. Whatever they said about you cannot destroy you. Whatever they're doing to you cannot destroy you, period. Okay? For others of you guys, like I said, whoever this is that's on this mission to have power, to have fame, to have control, to be greedy, whatever this person has going on, it's destroying itself on the inside out. And it starts with the belief of God, believe it or not. Believe it or not. And some of you guys may not ever even see this person crumble, see that cookie crumble. But at the moment you stop paying attention to it, the moment that you let it go, I promise you're going to have your full cake. And when you get that full cake, the experience that you've been through, you always going to give your last piece away. You always gonna be too full for dessert. That's what people don't understand about you, Virgo. You have this special touch on you. You have this special voice. You have this special power. You have this special ability to heal people with your hands, with your mind, with your body, with your cooking, with your intelligence. It's intelligence. There's something here that is deep root seated. I guess that's how you say that. Okay, in your heart that. It's a foundation and a connection between you and God, or you and your past life. You know who you are. So you're always going to be different. Okay, so this is not about fitting in. This is not about taking taking what's there to offer. This is about knowing your worth, standing up with boldness, because there's a thin line between being bold and being reckless. There's a thin line between being a warrior and being a dictator. There's a thin line between all of these things, Virgo, and somehow, some way, throughout all this chaos, throughout all this turmoil, throughout all of this, control that the world has tried to really put down on you, man, you have learned how to balance it. So give yourself grace and accept things as though they are. Accept your time in the way that it's going to come, because your time is actually here. Believe it or not, Virgo, you just need to recognize the moment. And a lot of you guys, when you recognize the moment, you start calling bullshit on your own bullshit. You start saying, I could have been bigger. I could have did this. I could have did that. Don't let the enemy, don't get God's voice or your thoughts for wanting to be better. Okay, don't get it confused with the enemy, and also don't give it too much time. Now that you know better, you do better. Okay, Virgo, this is a lesson learned for you that many people will never experience, because why? They're not God's soldiers, they're not God's warriors, and we're not saying they're not God's children or God's chosen. Okay, but you are a warrior, you are a soldier, you are a leader for God. So your mission is different. It hit different. Even if you wanted to sit back when you see the world under attack, if you got a bone in your body that can move, a thought in your brain that can create a notion, an idea, you're going to do it to the day that you die. This is who God created you to be. So you're starting to realize that, yes, I have a mission, but at the same time, there are things I got to do on my front line for me. And this time you cannot look back, Virgo. It's bigger than you. Like I said, you're going to live in love. Okay, so yeah, you got that warrior stance in you. You come in like a military sergeant and, oh, Virgo know everything, whatever. But at the end of the day, when shit get real like this, people gonna be, where you at? So you're thanking God differently for the things. That movie is giving me Taken. Okay, when her daddy, he said, I got a different set of skills. I got a different set of skills. Okay. It says, want to get out of the rut. The first step is to get tired of the bullshit. Your bullshit, their bullshit, the world's bullshit. Spend today honing in on your sense of deja vu. Once you can spot the old shit, you can stop that old shit, okay? It says, be kindful as fuck and full of love, but maintain boundaries like a motherfucker. Letting people fuck with you is not a spiritual attribute. Think about Archbishop Desmond Tutu. That dude wouldn't have done the good shit that he did in the world if he let people walk all over him. Even His Holiness, the Dalai Lama, tells people to fuck off sometimes in his own compassionate as fuck way. So understand that, you can say no. If you can call bullshit on other people, you should be able to call bullshit for you and what's going on around you. And a lot of you guys, like I said, you've gotten to that point, and a lot of you guys are used to people you've been used to, basically, I wouldn't say taking accountability, but accepting the problem. You know that you are a part of the problem, okay? But you still kindful, you still here, you still showing up, but you show up with these boundaries. People who that's not meant to be with you, baby, they don't want to see you win. That's as simple as that. They're not going to be there for you in those situations when you winning, but you can rest assured that in them situations you losing, they have an opinion to say. So a lot of you guys, like I said, you're here to be a leader. You're here to, figure things out in a different way. You're going to walk a different path. You're going to walk with a different fire behind you. But at the end of the day, you still who you are. Stallion. Valuable. People want to race you. It's almost like this wild thing. Like being wild, being free, being independent, knowing who you are, man. The right person, waiting for the right person to tame you. Okay? There's something about stallions or horses that I'm picking up here, because if you know anything about horses or stallions, if you find one that's wild, they're very hard to manage, very hard to get right. You can't just, you have to be very knowledgeable when it comes to training wild horses before you just jump up on one, because if not, you could lose your life. And I feel like certain horses know, but they still put certain things to the test. Okay, and certain riders know that, okay, I didn't just come in and jump on this horse. You have to build this relationship, this bonding, this understanding. But at the end of the day, this horse is still going to be a horse. The wolf will still be a wolf. A dog will still be a dog. A person will still be a person. There's an understanding here, okay, for humanity that you have, that a lot of people, Virg, how are dogs and animals and horses more important and valuable than people? They're not. That's the idea that they want you to believe. So like I said, it's all about being wild, being free. And the right person can come around. It's not about taming you. They're going to go through enough to understand how to tame you. Because you're going to have to get your head hit. You're going to have to buck with a few horses. This is not something that's handed down. Okay, Virgo, this is a born legacy, a birthright. Like I said, you're going to have markings. Burns, markings, birthmarks is really what I'm hearing. Okay, and they won't be able to hide. You won't hide these. You can't hide them. They show. So I don't know if you have somebody here that, yeah, maybe you know how to lead people. You have a crew of people or a tribe of people who follow because they've been told to follow. They just gonna follow after history. But Virg, you're running wild. You're running free. Now imagine wolves and horses running together. So partnership and partnership, unison, okay, but most of all, connection. You're being connected to the right people, because these are people that are going to be able to call your bullshit, Virgo, but still be kind, still have grace, still want to see you win. Okay, so be ready to take criticism. Be ready to, listen to other people's idea. Be ready to share your knowledge. Okay, be ready more than anything though to listen, sit back and see, observe. Be ready for people not using you. A lot of you guys, you ain't never really just got used. You think you be getting used, man. Be ready to not be played with. That's what I can say. I don't know how to say this, but if it resonated, it resonated. If you get it, you get it. Don't forget to hit the like button. That's the message that I have. Final message here. No equals a full sentence. You know what punctuates that sentence? Action. We spend too much time explaining our boundaries that we forget to just have a fucking boundary. Say no and quit participating in what you said no to. Remove yourself from any situation if you have to. Be your own boundary. Period. And then everything aligns. You start saying no, you start standing on something, and that's why you got pressure on their neck, because a lot of you guys, Virgo, I ain't gonna lie, you keep them on their feet because they couldn't get you to say yes. Okay, when you start saying no, that keeping them on their feet got them on their back. It got them on their chest, and you just simply doing you, walking with boundaries, is putting pressure on their neck. What can we do next? There is no next. Somebody is out of options, but God said His resource to you is unlimited, and you need to understand that. So certain things that you at this time may be unlimited, may be limited to you. Natural resources that you should be having, but God said any way I can work it out, I'm gonna work it out. I'm gonna make it the way that it's supposed to be. All you gotta do is not say no in these times that these people trying to trap you, burn you, get you to fold. Okay, we on to the next one. On to the next one. On to the next one. That's it, Virgo. Let them say, nah, because you're going to figure it out. You gonna figure it out. But you done figuring it out for other people. You done paving the way. You done showing them. You done giving them light and grace. You done with the comebacks. You done with the think backs. You done with the take backs and the returns. At the end of the day, Virgo, you learning that shit. This is shit that I accepted though. Thank you guys for the super chat. I appreciate that. You starting to see. I accepted that behavior, so this is why I'm in the situation that I am. Now I'm not gonna accept that anymore. Cool beans. Ain't no blame. Now you know better. You know better. You do better. Okay? It is what it is. And you still gonna love them. But now you got boundaries. Now you gonna say no. And you ain't gonna give a fuck about how it make them feel. That's what it is, Virgo. That's the message that I have for you guys today. It's either for you or it's not. Leave your negative comments to yourself. Beautiful blessings to those riders and all my supporters. I will see you guys next time. Love you. Bye-bye.